Hi everybody, in this screencast I'm going to cover how to protect a digital download. So what I've got is a Weezer MP3, fake of course, and this is going to be a digital download that we're going to protect. Now, for those of you who have relatively little experience in PHP, know this: PHP has access to every part of the server. So it can serve up a file if you tell it to, even if that file is not available via the World Wide Web. So what do I mean? Well, I've got an MP3. Heck, I'll show it to you. And let me close down a couple things here. Got a lot of stuff going as I built this. I have a demo.mp3. Okay, this is just an MP3. It's not really a Weezer MP3 at all. I'm just using it for demonstration. So what did I do? Well, when I FTP'd, I put it in domains mm214.com under downloads. It's called demo.mp3. Really small file, something we can test on, okay? Now, if we go up, you'll notice that everything in the World Wide Web that's available to my users is under public_HTML. This is my website right here. So all the files you see here, including the new digital download cart, is available via the World Wide Web. So when I go to this, you see it says mm214.com digital download cart. Okay, so we've got that done. So the way this is going to work, now that you know that I've put the file above the root level where it cannot be accessed, remember it was right in this folder right here, is we're going to have PHP serve it up directly once a user buys the product. Okay? So here's how it's going to work, and I'll show you the code after, but this is the functionality and how it'll roll. There's a subtle change in the cart we did over the last 2 weeks. I want you to start feeling more confident with customizing elements of your cart, so I've kept it really simple. Of course, some of you will still go with OpenCart, and that's fine. But again, this class is about really learning for web development. So what I did was I added a Buy Now button. This Buy Now button was directly taken from week 1. In fact, it was taken right from Add to Cart, View Cart, and Buy Now. Okay? So when I do this, I click Buy Now. And excuse me, I'm going to pause this. I have a train passing. Okay, folks, train is gone, so I can come back in here. Now, this is a big part of this. I just bought the Weezer album, and I'm clicking Pay with Debit Card. And one of my tabs up here is a fake credit card number, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that. And here's PayPal right here, so I'll paste my number. Expires. You can choose any date, 22, any numbers, but I'll go ahead and put my personal information here. For these purposes, I always put 123 Code Lane, San Diego, California, 92119. And the mobile will be 619 and the number for information, which they always take. And then I'll do KDSecor Gmail. Now for this, this little test, you have to understand with PayPal, it could be an hour, it could be a couple hours before it hits my IPM. Okay? But what'll happen, and we'll let this process. I'm going to click Not Now, and this will run. Now the IPN gets sent. Now, inside my IPN, we'll go over the code and everything else, but right now, what will happen is that I will have a link that gets sent to me, and it should be this link right here, and when I click on it, I should get the download. So there's my download at the bottom, Show and Finder. It's the Weezer cover. So that is the functionality we'd expect. We pay for the product gets sent, and then we go to our actual database, and we should see the information. Now let's scale back a little bit. I've changed the database a little bit to accommodate what I need to do. Last week, I had a products table, and that products table just accommodated the watch, the iPhone, etc. So you will have a new SQL if you want to follow this path. And I'm going to show you that new SQL. Now I have something called file name, file type, description, and link. So this is the link to the file in question. How did I find the link to where that path is? Well, this is what's called a document root. If you had me for WebD166, you might know what this is. But if I go to my folder for digital carts and I go to info.php, we can find the document root here. And here you see it's home Mako domains mm214.com, and that is our root. Now there's a private underscore HTML. You can snip that off because right now I'm inside that section. Okay? And this is the server request here. So all these things mean something. They tell PHP where to download that file, even though the World Wide Web and its users can't access that link. All right? So what I did was I changed this table to accommodate all the information I need to properly download that file. Next, I have gone in and created a new table. That new table is called buyers. And this is the buyer from the IPN script right here. So here you see I'm in the buyers table. Now there's also a downloaded field or table that I use to just record whenever Chris Secord buys something and downloads it. So in this case, I've got product ID 3, which is the Weezer, and I've tested this twice. So it says time downloaded buyer ID 1. Okay. Now, once this gets over 3 downloads, I have it set so it will no longer allow me to download it. But this is automated from the IPN, which is a beautiful thing. Okay, so watch. If I go back to my download, just to show you some functionality, we hit that. Now I can hit this right here. I just download it again, and now I can hit this. You see there's the 3rd time. So now I can go back to my simple download it, go to the bottom, hit link. Now at this point, we should stop the downloaded buying. Okay, so now it's time to go into the code. So I've created these tables. Now let's look at the code, and inside my Sublime, this is what you're going to get in the package. So I've got, let me get this out of here. And this is the cart. Let's take it from the front end first. I went back to week 1. I took the Buy Now button right here from the cart in week 1. The next thing I did was, let me get the actual version from here. In the index.php, I added, let me make sure this is all good to go. And in this case, I have added the form. But following the other video in this, and that and inspect element is that when I sandbox stuff, I've made the appropriate change. So let's look at that inside, however, and it all and have a link to case hit. And over and on the purchase. When action, here's the buyer, and we'll get to it again. But that's why you see the number and the last products. It's Weezer. Why when we go ahead and do this is .php go to this, and you see why do I do that? Because it's MP code works code. So if I do run, no one to our testing. Thank you for that link from action and code. If I happen, the buyer gets moving from. But what step is mine? We'll get the file name file. This is the check. I might as well right now at this. I'll go ahead just for kicks. So I'm going here like, and I can go to the bottom. I do that a lot. And sorry, my microphone stopped working there. But we can actually comment this out. So it's only if you need it. And I'll make a little comment here. If you'd like to restrict download times, the number of times downloaded. Okay, now let's say it gets past this because you'll see the exit here. If it hits less than 3, which is this, right? Less than or equal to, this is greater than or equal to 3. So if it's 2, we allow 1 2 times. Then we can exit. That exit means it exits the script. So let's say we get past this, okay? And I'm going to remove this entirely. Then we can insert into the downloaded times, the prod ID time loaded down and buyer ID. Prod ID now, which is the timestamp buyer ID. We've already tested this works. So what we can do next, now that this is in the downloaded file, or in the downloaded table in the database, we can explode at the / the file type. Because the file type is going to be what? It's going to be application/mpeg. That's our MIME type, which is right down. It's actually inside the database. So let's go to the products table and I'll show you. So we're going to go to products. I know this can be a lot, but you're going to want to keep this because it's already done for you. If you ever have to do this for a client, and I know there are a few students requesting this. So this is the products table right here. When we click browse, you'll see that file type. And that file type is what's called a MIME extension. It's right here. It says audio/mpeg3. So we're basically splitting this into an array and finding that file extension, audio/mpeg. We could also do it with a file name, which I don't mind doing. You know, you do file name. I kind of like that actually. But the file name is not in our query, so we'll leave it as is. So the file extension N just finds the last member of the array, which is going to be .mpeg3 or mp3. It's the same thing. And what it does next is we're going to have prod name. So prod name is whatever's in the products table file, which is right here. So this is Weezer cover .mpeg3, which is why it said that. We read that when we did it. So now we go to our headers. We're going to say that we're going to download the content, which is mp3. We're going to use file get contents to use the absolute URL and find that value, which is not accessible via the World Wide Web. That's a very important thing. People do not have access to this. People only have access to what's in the public_HTML folder of mm214.com. Next, we'll disposition it as an attachment. File name equals prod name. Then we'll make sure that this doesn't get cached in the user's browser, and we'll expire the header immediately. And lastly, we're going to output the file, which is the file get contents. Okay, so that's how a download protected digital product works. Now, in summary, because this can be very, very confusing, we have to communicate to the download script what the file type is. That's why we added the sections, file name, file type, description link in our browser. And this is the actual link to the browser, which right now is not being used. You can omit this if you want, but this is the actual pathway to it. So actually, I think, let me go back to the download here. Yeah, the link right now isn't used. You can use that for multiple things. I would leave it once you get a good understanding what's happening and utilize it later because it is valuable. We can use this to determine whether something's downloaded and put it into downloadable and put it in condition because we're still utilizing these things. Now, a couple of things left, things that we should talk about. How do we tell if something like iPhone camera is not downloadable? Well, that's why we would use the link, okay? So we can still use this, but I would use this on the notify only if, inside the notify script, if it were a specific prod ID that had a link. So I would say something like this, where link not equal to empty, something like that, okay? Do single quotes. And that way you'd only have to download products that were downloadable. You wouldn't get the iPhone, you wouldn't get the watch, you wouldn't get the other products. And that would allow you to have a mixed cart. Okay? So what are the important things here? Now, if you've zoned out because this is too complicated, it's really not. It just takes a little bit of practice and patience because the Notify and PayPal sometimes takes a while. Okay? But I've proven it works, and I've proven it's secure. What's not secure is someone can just share this. That's under digital rights management. That's a whole different discussion for a later date. What I'm focusing on is creating nice, unique opportunities for your shopping cart and your knowledge base to grow a little bit in case a client ever asks you to do this. Also be advised that PayPal also has something where you put the file on PayPal. And PayPal will take care of the whole thing, but they'll take a bigger cut. Okay, this is nice because it gives you full control over everything. If PayPal gets hacked, you've got total control over the files you want to share, files that you don't want to share. There are also ways that you can show maybe 30 seconds of an MP3 before the user purchases it. But right now, let's keep to this. Now, what would I do in the future for this? Well, we're building this out kind of nicely. I would add an orders table. That's going to come next week, orders table, and then we can move forward. I'd be anxious to hear if any of you actually want to do customized cards like this. Don't feel like you need to do OpenCart. If you're a web dev, you should dive into this. If you feel comfortable at least a little bit with PHP, I'll help you, I'll guide you. You don't have to worry, okay? Because this says something. You went in and you know exactly every item of the cart that works. So in this cart so far, we've done sessions. Now we've added a digitally downloadable product. I'm going to zip this up. I'm going to add the SQL to it so that you can work with it. Add an MP3 of your choice if you like, but I'd be curious on feedback for this downloadable cart. You got to kind of work with it slowly. You got to pause me in this screencast. Work slowly, meticulously. Try to watch the screencast a couple times. Understand what I'm doing. I'm passing an encrypted link to a download script and using PHP to force the download. Now that download script, by the way, is one I use in a couple other classes to allow your resume to be downloaded. So I would take that. All right. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.